Hello, and welcome to the first edition of Corvette News with your host, Vet on Vets. Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is my first kind of informal, if you will, newscast on Corvettes. Anything happening both nationally or globally. Side note, if you live in Virginia, more specifically Southern Virginia, it is a gorgeous day to go play with your Corvette. Unfortunately, a lot of mine is taken apart right now because I am installing a push-button start, which that's going to be a huge video coming down the pipeline shortly. It's kind of involved. I really think you guys will enjoy it, so stay tuned for that video coming down the pipeline. Now today I wanted to touch on a few fascinating Corvette topics, things that are happening in the Corvette world, if you will. And I will try to do this as coherently as possible. This is kind of a test run for me to see how I do doing this type of informal newscast. And if you guys like it, I might jazz it up a little bit, make it a little more professional. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead. I got a few articles here to share with you guys, no particular order, and I hope you guys find this informative. Kind of your one-stop shop for Corvette news. That's kind of the idea anyways. Alright, first on my list here, C7, Z06, and Z01 rear tire woes. If you own a C7, Z06, or Z01, you might have trouble getting rubber for the rear. In case you've lived in a cave the last year, the world's kind of upside down, and a lot of things we took for granted being manufactured are having a hard time being manufactured right now. Your mainstream tires, no big deal, but the huge tires that go on the back of the Z01 and Z06 respectively, the 335 or plus if you're running even wider, there's a huge tire shortage right now, unfortunately. So if you have either one of those cars, you might have a hard time finding tires for it. So it can make things a little tricky autocrossing or drag racing your car. And if you do find tires, you're probably going to pay a premium. So watch out for that. Sadly, in Austin, Texas this week, 2020 C8 Corvette claimed its first life. Someone was driving, I don't know all the details on the story, but they were probably doing something they shouldn't have been doing and sideswiped a rideshare car, which happened to be a Ford Explorer. Sadly, they took him to the hospital where he did succumb to his injuries. So just a reminder, you guys driving Corvettes, they're fun. If you're not too experienced, take your time. And street racing, I'm not a fan of that. A lot of YouTubers like to hot rod their cars on public roads. Not a fan of doing that. I'll get on it sometimes on the back road, but just be safe out there, guys. It's, no sense in killing yourself. Just a car. I say just a car. We know it's a Corvette, but you know what I mean. This next story, you've probably seen it running around the internet the last few days. That is Chip Foose, the famous car creator. You might know him from the hit show Overhauling, which was a thing about 10 plus years ago. I used to watch it. Fun little show. He took what he thought was a very bland design of the C8 and did his own rendition. I'll include a picture here. Obviously it's subjective, draw your own conclusions, and I can have my own opinion. This is my own little news broadcast. I'm not a fan of it. I do respect his work for the most part, but this to me, not feeling it. The front end looks way too pinched, the middle looks way too heavy. Someone somewhere in some forum or YouTube comment said it looked like a bicycle helmet, and that pretty much solidified it for me. Yeah, not a huge fan. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Leave a comment below. As you all know, the C8R is doing amazing in its first season of racing, and to celebrate that, Corvette Racing is offering a very unique Corvette watch. Pictures here, of course. Let me know what you think. They're kind of cool. And it comes in two respective numbers, number 3 and 4. Those are your two options, 3 and 4. There's two of them. One you have a very bold yellow color, the other one's a gray color. It's kind of neat if you're a watch guy and like to collect watches. Why not? Next up, the production of the C8 Corvette. Like we all know, the 2020 C8 Corvette had a very, very rocky start, and they were able to hit 30,000 units in this first year, which is not easy to do considering all the weird hurdles they had to get over. Now, fast forward to 2021, the production was stalled for about 2 weeks, but GM has announced that production is back up and running again. Due to the weird weather all across the country, GM did cease production in its plant, but they announced that the plant is up and running, and you should see Corvettes 2021s being shipped back to your respective dealerships in the very near future. If you follow C8 Corvettes on Auto Trader Car Gurus, you will see the number of new ones on hand has dropped dramatically from about 900 units down to about 600, but those numbers should start to raise ever so slightly over the next coming weeks. So yeah, if you're waiting for inventory at your local dealer, give it a couple more weeks and you might be able to scoop one up way over MSRP, but nonetheless there will be some available. Next up, we got a very unique exhaust option available for the C8 Corvette. A company called Aerolari has designed what might be a controversial design for the C8. I personally don't mind it. That is a mid exit exhaust, such as you'd find on a C5, C6, C7 Corvette. You know, most exhausts go for a performance gain or unique sound, but their wheelhouse is trying to capture that nostalgic feel of the Corvettes of the old days, if you will. I have not heard it. It looks pretty cool. I'm curious to see what you guys think below. Please leave me a comment on this new exhaust coming out. Now, it's not cheap by any means. It starts just at $3,000, so it better sound pretty damn good, because you're already going to spend 90 grand on a C8 Corvette. But if you have the money to do that, why not? I'm curious to see some of these running around, and I'm curious to see if they're going to give the C8 a mid-production refresh like they did in the C4. They really haven't done it on any other Corvette outside of the C3 and C4. So, you know, a lot of cars, they do mid-production refreshes. I would like to see the exhaust tweaked a little bit, the rear end tweaked a little bit. We can all hope for a manual transmission. I know, a manual transmission is so much slower. What do you want a manual transmission? Automatic transmission, two-clutch transmission is the way to go. I understand that, but it's still fun to drive a manual transmission car. But we can dream, right? And that might be a video for another time, you know, what they should do to improve the C8. Anyways, and lastly for this week, if you haven't already heard, the C8 Corvette will be shedding 3 of its colors in the next production year. And they are actually colors I really like. The Sebring Orange, which I really like on the C7. The Shadow Gray, which is okay. And last one, I might get flack for this, is the Zeus Bronze, which is the color I want to get in my C8, if not the Rapid Blue. I'm still torn between the two. I think the Zeus Bronze looks amazing. I saw one in person about a month ago with the pewter rims. It looks fantastic, in my opinion. And that is the color option I would go with if there's any available for a decent price when I pull the trigger. I don't know, but we'll see. My mind changes quite a bit, and I have not seen all the colors in person, so I do hope they get rid of that hideous yellow they have and go to a more traditional, dark, millennium situation like we have here. I think this is the best yellow ever provided on a Corvette. That's just my opinion, of course. And one last little thing, resale value on Corvettes remains steady and remains up. National average from last time I checked is up about 3%, and that was about 2 months ago. There's no end in sight of these crazy Corvette prices, but of course I will keep you guys in the loop if anything changes on that as well. Alright guys, that's all I have for this week, Corvette news. Hope you guys enjoyed this first news segment. I know it's a little clunky. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want to do with it, but going forward it'll get more refined, of course. In any case, hope you guys enjoyed this, found this informative, and found this enjoyable, and I'll catch you guys next time. Mark out.